Anchorage, Alaska, February 1, 2012. 18-year-old Samantha Koenig is finishing her shift at a roadside coffee hut. On the security footage, a man approaches. He looks like any other customer until he jumps through the window with a gun. He turns off the lights. Samantha disappears into the Alaskan night. For weeks, the city is on edge. Then a ransom note appears with a photo of Samantha holding a recent newspaper. Her family pays the $30,000, desperate for her return. They didn't know they were dealing with a man who'd been practicing the art of the perfect murder for over a decade. A man who didn't just kill, he prepared for it years in advance. To his neighbors, he was a dedicated father and a hard-working construction contractor, but had a secret that sounds like a horror movie plot. He didn't kill in his own backyard. Instead, he would fly across the country, rent a car, and drive for hundreds of miles. He never used credit cards. He never stayed in one place. But his most chilling signature? The kill kits. Years before he intended to strike, he traveled to remote areas in Vermont, New York, or Washington. He would bury plastic buckets filled with weapons, silencers, zip ties, and chemicals to dissolve bodies. He would mark the GPS coordinates and go back to his normal life. These kits sat underground for years, hidden time bombs waiting for their creator to return. Most serial killers have a type. Keyes didn't. He didn't care about age, gender, or race. In 2011, he flew to Chicago, drove to Vermont, and dug up a kit he'd buried 2 years prior. Chose a house at random, the home of Bill and Lorraine Currier. He broke in, bound them, and drove them to an abandoned farmhouse he had scouted earlier. There was no connection between them, no motive, just a cold, calculated desire to exercise total control. After the act, he simply flew back to Alaska and took his daughter to the movies. He was a ghost because he had no pattern. No pattern means no trail. The ransom money from the Samantha Koenig case was his undoing. He used the stolen debit card at ATMs across the southern U.S., allowing the FBI to track his movement. When they finally pulled him over in Texas, they found Samantha's phone and the tools of his trade. In the interrogation room, he was arrogant, admitted to at least 11 murders, but hinted at many more. He told the FBI, "There is no one who knows me or who has ever known me who knows anything about me, really." But the world would never get the full truth. In December 2012, while awaiting trial, he died in his cell, leaving behind a note and drawings of 11 skulls. He took his secrets and the locations of his remaining kill kits to the grave. Boston, April 2009. Inside the elegant Marriott Long Wharf Hotel, the silence of the hallway is broken by a muffled struggle. 25-year-old Julissa Brisman, an aspiring actress, is found at the entrance of her room. She had been bound and shot. There was no forced entry, no sign of a struggle in the lobby. The only clue left behind was a digital footprint. Julissa had placed an ad on Craigslist offering massage services. She thought she was meeting a client in a safe, upscale hotel. She didn't realize she had invited a predator into the room, one who used the internet as his private hunting ground. Days before the murder of Julissa, another woman was robbed at gunpoint at the Westin Copley Place Hotel. She, too, had advertised on Craigslist. The police realized they weren't looking for a career criminal or a drifter. They were looking for someone who knew how to navigate the city's high-end hotels without drawing a single glance. Security footage from the hotels showed the same man, tall, blonde, clean-cut, wearing a black jacket and a baseball cap. He looked like a typical college student because that's exactly what he was. While the Boston PD scrambled to find him, he was already back in his apartment, living a life that was the definition of perfect. The digital trail led investigators to a quiet apartment in Quincy, Massachusetts. When they checked the name on the lease, they were stunned. Philip Markoff was a 23-year-old second-year medical student at Boston University. He was engaged to be married to a beautiful woman who believed he was her man of gold. To his classmates, he was a genius. To his fiancée, he was a protector. But inside his apartment, police found the trophies of his secret life. Hidden inside a hollowed-out medical textbook, they found the gun used in the murder and the plastic zip ties used to bind his victims. He wasn't killing for money. He was a high achiever who sought a dark thrill that his medical career couldn't provide. The arrest of Philip Markoff sent shockwaves through the country. How could a future doctor, someone sworn to save lives, be so cold-blooded? His fiancée stood by him at first, unable to believe the man she loved was a killer. But as the evidence mounted, she eventually left him. Markoff never made it to trial. In August 2010, on what would have been his first wedding anniversary, he was found dead in his jail cell. He had used his medical knowledge to end his own life, using a sharpened piece of metal and plastic. He left no note, no explanation. He took his motives to the grave, leaving behind a legacy as the man who turned the internet's most popular classified site into a map of terror. August 1990, Gainesville, Florida. It was supposed to be the most exciting week of the year, the start of a new semester at the University of Florida. Thousands of students were moving into apartments, full of hope for the future, but a shadow had followed them to campus. Danny Rowling didn't belong in Gainesville. He was a drifter from Louisiana, a man with a violent past and a head full of dark fantasies. He set up a campsite in the woods just behind the university housing. From the darkness of the trees, he watched. He wasn't looking for money or fame. He was looking for a stage. He wanted the world to know his name, and he chose the quietest targets to make his point. The violence began on a Friday. Two roommates, Sonia Larson and Christina Powell, were found in their apartment. The scene was unlike anything the local police had ever witnessed. This wasn't a crime of passion, it was a performance. Rowling had posed the victims in a way that was designed to shock whoever found them. Panic hit the city like a tidal wave. Students began sleeping in groups, arming themselves with baseball bats and knives. The police department called in every available officer, but the Ripper was already moving. Within 48 hours, 3 more students were gone. The killer moved through the city like a ghost, breaking into second-story windows and vanishing before the sun came up. He left no fingerprints, no DNA, and no witnesses. The only thing he left behind was a signature of absolute brutality. While the largest manhunt in Florida history focused on the university, Danny Rowling was already back in his campsite, singing songs into a tape recorder. He spoke about his demons and his desire to be a superstar. But his ego became his undoing. Short on cash, Rowling robbed a local grocery store. He wasn't caught at the scene, but in his haste, he abandoned his campsite. When investigators stumbled upon the hidden tent in the woods, they found a treasure trove of evidence. a signature hunting knife, a screwdriver used to pop locks, and those haunting tape recordings. The voice on the tapes gave them a name, but the man belonging to that name was already in custody. He had been arrested for a simple burglary in a nearby county, sitting in a jail cell while the world searched for a monster. They didn't have to find him. They just had to identify him. In the interrogation room, the tough guy persona Rowling had built for his tapes began to crumble. When confronted with the evidence, he didn't just confess to the 5 murders in Gainesville. He admitted to a triple homicide in his hometown of Shreveport, Louisiana, years earlier. Danny Rowling was a man who wanted to be a legend, but he ended up as a cautionary tale. He was executed by lethal injection in 2006. He died as he lived, craving the spotlight, even singing a gospel song as his final words. Today, the town of Gainesville is peaceful again, but the Ripper remains a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous person is the one standing just outside the light of the campfire.